Hello and welcome to continued coverage of the Tencent LPL Summer here. We're in week 4, day 1, and quite possibly the match of the weekend is just about to occur. Here is World Elite take on OMG. My name is Pastry Champ and I'm joined by Papa Smithy. Papa, to me this match almost feels like the former best team in China versus the current best team in China.
Absolutely. In a lot of ways, OMG are kind of the reaction to World Elite. They're the team that set out there to dismantle everything World Elite wanted to do, all that very patient laning into strong team fights. OMG are all about aggression, about getting picks. They innovated the freight train, which is all about, at the time, the Thresh, Hecarim, Graves combo, with many modifications subsequently, to use your ultimates liberally to get picks and then turn it into objectives. Objective-focused play has always been their calling card. And look, they're sitting pretty at 8-1 in this split of the LPL. They're feeling very, very confident. I mean, World Elite, 2 strong performances last week, and then they just couldn't get it done against Positive Energy. They were probably out-comped there as the strong AoE just kept them at bay. They weren't able to get the team fights they were looking for, and that Name Twitch was too strong. What are we going to see today, Pastry Time? I don't know, but it's going to be something.
It really is. The bans here for World Elite, Lysandra, Yorick, and Nunu in those first 2 bans in particular, really picking on some of the unconventional stuff that OMG have been playing recently. And of course, Thresh and Ken in there for OMG. 1 more ban left for them as well. And they're taking their time with this last one. I think it might be Twisted Fate. Nope, never mind. Elise goes into the pool there.
And leaving Twisted Fate open against World Elite, you have to think they're going to pick it, so they must have a strategy to deal with it. And OMG have played Twisted Fate themselves to good success. But the Messiah Twisted Fate, the allure of it too strong, the crowd very, very hyped.
Yeah, absolutely there as Twisted Fate goes in for the first pick there for World Elite. No real surprises there. OMG going to instead pick themselves up Zac and Lee Sin on the trade here. It looks like, yeah, and you can see that is quite the win rate on Twisted Fate.
Haven't seen much of the card master, but he's doing very, very well for himself.
If he pops up, he seems to do a nice job. And there is Lee Sin Zac, so probably going to be Lee Sin jungle. Seen quite a bit of him today, actually. Seems like he's been picking up a little bit more speed. He's been good for a while, been pretty consistently good, so not too surprising. And it
feels like we've seen the end of the Zac jungle Pastry Time.
I think so.
I mean, it's still a good first pick because you do have that potential, but it's almost always been that lane Zac. He just synergizes so well with that farm and items that putting him in a lane, and he loves the 1v2 as well. He's just kind of an anchor of a good team comp, as we see probably the in vogue lane of today, the Twitch Nami has the lock-in from World Elite.
I think that's a perfect way to describe it. If this isn't the flavor of the month for your dual lanes, I don't know what you guys have been doing, but Nami Twitch is the pick up here and very quickly selected by WE as well. I mean, we've seen Wei Zhao, we've known him to be, a kind of a Ezreal, kind of a Caitlyn guy, but certainly can play almost any AD carry. And Twitch in his hands is something that I would be very, very afraid of if he ever gets any sort of farm going in, especially with support like Nami. We've seen how precise Fizz can be on Nami as well.
But the Blitzcrank's back, Pastry Time.
And to be perfectly honest, if Nami's going to be a popular pick, I really get Blitz as a counter pick.
Well, the one thing you can say is that with the 3 champions locked in, all of them fairly decent hook targets, especially the Twitch and the Twisted Fate, both very squishy, both amazing hook targets for Big Pomelo. I mean, Blitzcrank looked fantastic in that first game we cast to the LPL, the week 3, day 1 first matchup there, as they just wrecked with the Pantheon and Blitzcrank combo here. It's going to be different here. It'll just be interesting to see how they lane that Blitzcrank, because a lot of teams have had trouble because in a 2v1 situation, not the ideal pick, so we'll have to see what they want to do with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Blitz, his strength really feels like towards the mid-game when you're roaming around and looking to get picks off, but of course you have to actually open up, a tower kill, or open up the game a little to kind of get Blitzcrank into a position where he can be effective and really use those hooks well. So OMG, they do like their Blitz, picked him a couple of times, so it'd be interesting to see just how Big Pomelo goes this time. Last pick, Ari in here as well, always a nice pick, and we didn't comment on the last few picks here for World Elite, but feels very World Elite-ish to me. We've got Shen there in the top lane for Salmei, and it looks like Man's back in the jungle with Evelyn.
And you're going to see a lot of horizontal initiates, or initiates from the side here with that Evelyn-Shen combo. They're going to try and open up, and you're probably going to see a lot of pink wards coming out here just to stop the ambush kind of ganks from, well, ambush is an ironic term given, of course, the Twitch Q, but the ganks from the sides here, trying to get Evelyn into the middle of the team, and of course the Shen ultimate on top to get that taunt follow-up. But that's pretty much their only engage. They are very linear there, whereas OMG, they've got a pick comp, they love them, and they've got another one.
Yeah, they've got Zac, they've got just about everything else. They've got Blitzcrank, actually.
Ari Charm, Blitzcrank, Hook, and Ari, of course, known as a very, very dominating lane matchup against Twisted Fate. You never want to be Twisted Fate in that matchup. So will they lane against each other? I mean, there's a Zac in the game, so you have to think there'll be a 1v2 situation somewhere, but we'll have to see.
We will here in Water League, going to take on OMG here in a very, very big game here on day 1 of week 4 of the LPL. And I mean, this is a matchup that I think it maybe even looks to the finals here in this summer split. It's hard to say. Of course, both teams have been playing absolutely amazingly.
Due respect to Positive Energy, I guess, Pastry Time, is because right now they are second, of course, being 1 game ahead of World Elite. World Elite need to take down the previous champions and, of course, the league leaders right now to get that away and get to that second place, joint with Positive Energy.
And World Elite, as we've said, they're kind of unhappy with their performance in the spring LPL. We'll see if they can make it any better here in summer. And you know that it seems like, especially this team, have really been practicing. But OMG look absolutely unstoppable in China, it feels like. I mean, you said they were kind of almost created, it felt like, as a counterpoint to World Elite. And this is really a matchup that's 2 very different teams going up against each other, but who really know how to play their game to an absolutely incredible level here. I like this level 1 from World Elite, moving through very efficiently. They're using the Nami bubbles, got the Twisted Fate cards as well ready to go. OMG going to also do the same thing. Actually, Pink Ward, that blue buff, so really looking to try and get control of the area. Maybe we'll even see a blue steal with Blitzcrank.
See, the Pink Ward holds a double purpose here. It, of course, gives them exclusive vision of the World Elite blue, but of course, if Evelyn is the person who's checking at the front, it gives them advance warning that she's coming in.
Going to check that brush again there, bubble in before they walk through, excuse me. And at World Elite this is really the World Elite wards here. We've got 1 at red, 1 at the wraiths, and they're going to make sure they've got plenty of vision around this side of the jungle. They're actually setting up for something else here as well. OMG even moving down towards the red side. Now both teams have been very active in either side of the jungle here, but World Elite going to set up for something here. Maybe going to look for a steal on the red buff to kick things off. OMG I think going to look to do the same here as well, as that Loveland, Big Pomelo, and Sana are all going to team up behind that red to try and take it away. So going to be very interesting here. Both teams going to get some invades down, but looks like everyone will kind of walk away with a red buff to start things off.
And against the Big Pomelo Blitzcrank, I think World Elite will be happy with a buff trade here, as we're probably going to see the hook coming in on the enemy red buff.
Yep, going to move around. There's the red hooked over the side. Man now starting off that red of his own there as Salme goes in for a little bit of help. And looks like the lane's, interestingly enough, actually going to lane out standard here.
Which you have to think, with that Ari vs Twisted Fate matchup, does suit Cool.
And the was for red resetting there, unfortunately. Lee Sin's going to have to spend a little while longer taking that one out. Does not have to use his smite, which is good news for him, but I don't think they quite managed to get in position to hook that red over the top, unfortunately. But Lee Sin...
The leashing when Blitzcrank leaves the buff can always be a bit awkward, and they just couldn't release it properly there.
No, and Loveland going to look here, stand on top of Ward, actually, and I think going to have to walk out of that one pretty quickly. Double buffs up now for Evelyn as well, so Mad's level 3, ready to go up towards the top lane, and is going to walk there now, see if he can get anything going here. Going actually level 1 right now, got to lane a little bit late here. Salme actually done some nice job zoning here, some pressure going to come through, could just go in for the taunt. Man's actually visible, I think. They just maybe got spotted by a minion. Oh, that could be a visual bug on my end. But they are going to go in for it. Here Going's going to walk straight into the Evelyn. A taunt in there as well. Very nice play there, and that's the force flash for Zac.
Yeah, nice play, and the flash down. Shen will take it. I mean, it's two very, very tanky men up top. The kill pressure for both very, very low, but an early advantage is an early advantage. Yeah,
Loveland going to steal away the race now as well. Thought about mid for a second, but didn't quite want to go in for it. Instead wants to take away some of the jungle. You can see down the bottom lane. I think, honestly, OMG are probably happy with how these lanes work out. You definitely want Ari against Twisted Fate. Zac kind of splits his lane anyway, and against Shen, they can just kind of have a farm battle, which I'm sure they'll both be happy about. Right now, Salme's playing very, very well here in the top, really holding the lane back and trying to pressure going early on as Zac. And bottom lane, I think especially as well, OMG absolutely would love to try and get some grabs going. In fact, Wage are going to get grabbed here as well. That's bad news. The barrier activated as well. Loveland looking to make something happen, but Man's now down the bottom lane as well. The cast there thrown off by Twitch just to try and get OMG out of the way. And really, really nice pressure there from Lee Sin, but beautifully countered there by Man. And poor Wei Zhao almost got himself killed by Blitz.
It looks like he was baiting for the hook there, possibly hoping they had the 3v2 advantage, but Loveland in good position to equal it up there. And I have to agree, you don't really want Blitzcrank in a 2v1 situation. They could have rotated Blitzcrank mid, but then Ari would have been in a long lane and wouldn't have had that kill pressure lane against Twisted Fate. So OMG are very happy with how these lanes have lined up.
Yeah, probably the fact that Salmei is just completely zoning out going right now. I think, yeah, they're happy. And that should change up in the top lane. Again, both Zac and Shen pretty good at splitting lanes, and Going is not even too far behind in CS, despite all the attempted denying. Although bottom lane is a very different story. San's been absolutely hammering her away here. This duo lane's really zoning them out here. Wei Xiao's actually behind almost 20 CS, which is quite rare for Mr. Wei Xiao. He usually likes hitting those minions.
Yeah, and Blitzcrank, he either lanes really well or he really struggles, and it feels like Big Pommeler's pressure this game has paid dividends.
Yeah, Big Pommeler just generally seems to get himself in situations where he's able to use Blitz effectively, so it seems like a reasonably confident pick for OMG as a result, and always nice to see the Blitz come out. They're going to back off in the bottom lane though. Looks like we'll do a little bit of shopping. It seems like Tyr the Goddess finished up actually for San, so Ezreal's got that going. Bit of room now in the bottom lane for Wei Xiao to pick up CS, so he'll be happy on Twitch as he comes back to lane after almost dying with double Doran's Blade, so things may be going to get a little bit better there. Looks like they're also both going to recall and see what they can do with maybe some of the extra gold here. Salmei still holding this lane here, very much wanting to try and keep Zac out of the way. I mean, kind of makes sense. Zac CS is very well under turret. He AoEs down nicely as well if he needs to. So if you can hold the wave here and just keep Zac at arm's length, Salmei looks like he's playing it right there in top.
You have to feel like for World Elite's comp here, level 6 is going to tell us a lot about how this game goes. And of course, it's always Messiah's prophetic words that the first Twisted Fate Ultimate is the one that really dictates how the game's going to go. They also have the potential for some sort of wombo combo between the ambush of Twitch and, of course, the kind of submarine ultimate that you can really get going with the Shen on top of the ambush Twitch. So they have a lot of interesting, almost cheesy things they can do with this global comp. What they settle on might shape this game.
Yeah, looks like Messiah's rotating down now as well. He is level 6, looking towards the bottom lane. Gets spotted off by no ward there. Just, I think, a little bit of hesitation there from World Elite. Don't quite want to go down towards the bottom lane, so they'll leave it just for now. But I mean, Messiah, you can see him moving. They know they want to get something done here. Man's now down the bottom as well, so maybe Messiah will rotate through again. Lee Sin's looking towards the Wraith there as well in the red side of the jungle, but just goes ahead and wards. Probably wants to spot Messiah when he rotates down towards that lane, so a smart ward placement there from Lee Sin. And looks like right now Messiah, he wants to kind of get a gank going, but he doesn't want to leave lane for too long either and get too far behind on CS against Ari.
Smart ward coming out on the Wraiths here against the Evelyn jungle. Of course, the Wraiths and even the Wolves are probably the two camps that Evelyn will look to clear with any regularity, so that's the only place where green wards are super effective against an Evelyn jungle.
Yep, and man dashes away, gets the Wraith, dashes back down. Going to look again for bottom lane here. I think knows that Wei Xiao's struggling a little bit here, so trying to make something happen here. Messiah, of course, still with that ultimate ready to go. Salmei seems very happy on the top lane, so looks like they're just going to have a farm fest there in the top, which kind of makes sense, given the way the lanes rotate out. And with Evelyn setting up once again, Messiah's going to come down the bottom, and here it goes for the first get there after Sun. A good knock-up there from Big Pommeler, but Messiah going to look to do some additional damage. A good W there from Fizzov, but unfortunately the vision did run out there on the Twisted Fate ultimate. That would have been a nice slow there onto Sun, but he had barrier, he had flash. Probably completely safe there from OMG, and I love the rotation mid as well to really pressure that turret while TF's gone.
And Twisted Fate cannot come into this lane aggressively or he will lose. The 2v2 skirmish of Lee Sin and a post-level 6 Ari is insane. So they get so much turret damage down here.
And Loveland just walks in there. He's got Adorance. He's ready to go. They just defend off the turret here. Although Lee Sin may be looking...
It's almost academic, though, Pastry Time. That is not long for this world.
It is, in fact, dead now. As Cool picks that one up there. Some really, really smart rotation there. And, that's one of the things against Twisted Fate I don't think we see enough of is really punishing him when he leaves for the first time. Messiah said, you need to make something happen. Everyone knows that when TF leaves, you need to shove. But that was a very, very well-timed shove there from Loveland and Cool.
And the product of the first Destiny of this game is a turret for OMG.
And that's not usually something you say when there's a Twist of Fate on World Elite side. But here comes Cool again, looking for the charm, going on to Messiah. The Spirit Rush coming through. The Q follow-up for Lovely, and they actually slow up Man there as well. But unfortunately kind of split their focus there a little bit. Not quite enough there. I think Cool must have missed the first charm there. So kind of neutered that gank a little before it started. No level 6 on Lee Sin either. So Loveland not really able to follow up that Q with a lot of damage. So Messiah will get away there. In fact, still no kills on the board here as we tick up towards the 9-minute mark. But OMG, I think, still comfortable with this situation. And really, with that tower going in the mid, they can open up and really start getting some picks going.
Yeah, but interesting to see if they keep the bot lane bottom.
Oh, wait, Xiao going to get exploded down the bottom. Stand United coming through there as well. Will save him there, so lightning fast reflexes there for Salmei, but a very, very nice hook there from Blitz and an all-in on top of Twitch is making Wei Xiao's life even less happy than it is currently, because he's not having fun down the bottom lane, unfortunately.
No, I mean, the CS advantage not quite as massive as it was before, but the blitzcrank pressure is really, really hurting Wei Xiao's laning here.
And I think a very smart buy of double Dorans in this instance as well, just kind of knowing that he needs the extra health against Blitz.
Well, the bilge water, exactly. I mean, it has so many nice stats, but if he's going to get hooked, he needs that effective health.
I mean, he'd probably build it up towards now. He'd love to have the Vamp Scepter, maybe stay in lane a little more. Man actually going to get charmed up here. Walks in there, finds a little bit of vision, but don't quite want to go in. A good Q from Ari, as Orbital Deception's going to do a nice chunk of damage there. And OMG looking to kind of aggressively go for this dragon, going in the top lane. Actually pushing down that turret nicely as well, now that Shen's left and gone back. I mean, Salmei's doing fine. Got a Duran Shield, got himself some boots and a Giant's Belt as well. But had to leave for that Sand United down the bottom. Gave Zac a little room up towards the top. Gonna return to lane there with the top turret there for W4D1, not taking too much damage. Salmei here just going to turn in, try and get some damage done with the taunt. And looks like two very farmed, very tanky guys will continue to trade up here in the top lane. Really, though, at this point, it's just a matter of how much shoving can Zac do and Shen leaves again.
Really early mana min pickup. The rush coming out from Ezreal here. So the Mirror mana, probably about 23 to 25 minutes will be the complete here. And of course, that no back power jump, so strong for that Ezreal.
Looking good so far, OMG. Again, not a huge lead, but they've really got a nice bit of pressure going. And if there's ever a time for Big Pomelo to get big, it's, you know, he can rotate mid now with that tower gone and try and make some pressure. Having good going action on Messiah. Good let's bounce out for the knock-up and a good flash there over the top. But a great Q there from Loveland for the follow-up. Kicks him back in as well. Messiah in trouble there as Cools over the top with Spirit Rush. And that was a beautifully played gank there from OMG. Fizzit though looking for the ultimate. Finds it there. Man though pop there as the Aqua Prison's coming through there. But Wei Xiao able to snipe him across there and managed to pick up the kill there and Lee Sin. So a 2-for-1 trade there. OMG again, very nicely played gank there from Going.
And for a team like OMG, having that mid turret down, like rushing down a mid turret on a team that's so liberal but using their ultimates to get picks, it's exactly what they wanted. If they wanted anything from the first 10 minutes of the game, it'd be to have a mid turret advantage.
And they had it very early. In fact, basically 6-7 minutes when Messiah left his lane for the first time with his ultimate. They're going to get a bottom turret here as well. All the pressure down the bottom lane is going to convert into a lot of damage onto that turret. They're actually trading down Big Pomelo. Have to be careful, don't want to get grabbed. And Sun is very scary on Ezreal right now. Really chunking out the damage with that Mana Mune. And I think this bottom tower is still going to go down. Man's looking to maybe get something done here, but looks like we'll have to back off. Big Pomelo doesn't like it apparently. And OMG's bottom lane will back off towards the turret. In fact, ambush happening now as well. As Twitch, I believe, has blue buff, which he got after he killed Loveland, so that's a nice little bonus there for him. But OMG, going to work on a second turret here very quickly, you have to think, and you don't have to give them much here as Messiah here coming in for Cool as well, but that is unfortunately not going to quite get in range as Cool flashes away.
And the blasting round rush on Ahri is interesting, because we're probably not going to see the DFG as the first pickup here, which, you know, if you've been watching Ambition, you've been watching the Korean scene, that almost seems like sacrilege, just because it synergizes so well on Ahri. But the one thing you can say about DFG is that it makes you great at those skirmishes. But skirmishing against a team with 2 globals and an invisible champion sounds like an exercise in frustration.
Going over the top again there with Slingshot, stretching strike for the slow as well. Messiah now revealed off, Stand United on top to try and make it happen. A good stun there into Loveland, Salmei over the top, but Cool coming in with a Spirit Rush, picks one up there as well. Man does get the trade there onto Evelyn, but is forced to flash out of the way. And OMG again, time and time again, we always say it, but they will just go in whenever they can. And again, a really nice roam down from Zac there, alleviating a lot of that pressure off from Shen.
But yeah, I mean, just being so smart about your items, you know, modifying the standard item just because you realize, hey, we don't want to skirmish here. OMG, a smart team. There's a reason why they're being so successful.
Yep. Now they're camping a brush together. Zac and Ahri, best friends forever. Going to go for that dragon instead, it seems like. Looks like OMG's bottom lane will rotate through here as well. So Wei Xiao's going to be happy with the CS he's getting, but the dragon here is going to give a nice bit of boost to gold here for OMG. And I mean, Salmei, really with that Shen Globe, we expect him to do a lot of roaming, but Gogomi's actually just been happily pushing back there in the top lane, and twice now he's roamed mid and got a kill on Messiah.
In general, the globals have netted WorldElite. I mean, they've lost from the globals in general. I mean, they've got a couple of trade kills, but that turret example from the first Destiny, probably the best reflection that globals aren't working for them so far this game. And for a team that made their name around smart use of globals, WorldElite haven't got it going yet this game.
Not quite yet. I mean, it won't take too much here. There's some nicely positioned globals to get it done, but OMG are a team that are very relentless. You give them anything at all, like a mid-turret, for example, early on in the game, and they will just absolutely take it and run with it. They're a team that, you know, they're definitely aggressive almost all the time.
Almost awkward of wards there, pastry time. A pink ward right next to a green ward. No vision of that whatsoever.
The saddest pink ward in the world, but looks like Cool's coming back now. Rabadon's death cap already completed up now as well for Ari, so Cool is doing big damage here already.
He's they're gonna group Pastry Time, and why wouldn't they? They have the mid turret advantage. They have the initiation. They're known for the freight train. They're known for grouping. And with the Blitzcrank hook here, they're going to group. Ari's going to be doing the AoE damage rather than the 1v1 damage that you get out of the Deathfire Grasp. And OMG are going to try and force the issue. They don't want to split because against globals, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, Salme's Sunfire cape up now as well, so he's ready to do some split pushing here, going. He's actually going to go back towards the top with his own Sunfire cape and try and make Shen's life a little harder there. I mean, if they can protect that top tower for as long as they can, it's probably good news for them. So I think Going's making the right choice here, but I agree that there need to be some 4v4 here. San actually, as Weichai gets very tricky there, tries to go in for the ambush, Blade of the Ruin King active, but decides not to pull the trigger on that. Fizzif wasn't quite there to bring the Tidecaller's Blessing in, and it's going to clear out a pink ward as well. So OMG just really keeping on top here. I have to say they've held man very well with this smart pink ward coverage.
Yeah, man's played a lot of Evelyn, but definitely to mixed success so far this series. Maybe people are finally, we started off the first split of the LPL with Evelyn bans across the board. We didn't get to see that man Evelyn at all. Now we're seeing it a lot, but the success hasn't been there.
Yep, Going actually forces Salme to flash there. Had a slingshot there looking for the
rotations coming in, Pastry Time.
Here comes the freight train. Cool's ready to spirit rush in. Loveland actually hits the right with a safeguard just for a little longer, and a great charm there's going to be in the end of poor Salme. Who's going to get it? It is going to be Cool for the 4th kill of the game here. Looks like down the bottom actually we're having Chaos here. It's a good tidal wave comes through. Messiah in there onto Sun. It's going to pick up that kill. Now looks for big Pomelo, but Blitzcrank I think is going to be okay here in this one. The stun code though coming in. Never mind the damage in there as well. The mana shield completely obliterated. There's a grab coming up, but Messiah picks up a double kill there down the bottom lane, and all of a sudden one little global there, a very nicely placed Twisted Fate ult, and despite trading on opposite sides of the map, it's 2 for 2 for both teams.
Right, and the turret is equaled here for World Elite, but will they lose a second turret?
They may just team man running up towards the top lane. Be interesting to see if they can get the turret down the bottom. If they can equalize on turrets here, I think OMG are fine with this trade. I mean, they're going to be 4-1 up in turrets regardless. If they do get this one, 3-1 still without it, but looks like they are just going to face take it, able to get this tower hero World Elite, and that's much cleaner here, having 3 for 2.
Absolutely, a very equal trade there, but crucially, the mid turret for OMG still standing.
And that's really the turret that matters the most. We noted how much OMG value getting that turret down just because it gives them so much space. It really is the turret that opens up that important center area of the map, and World Elite are going to struggle here a little bit, especially with a champion like Evelyn, or with globals like Twisted Fate to try and catch somebody out without having room to maneuver around the middle of the map. World Elite may be going to struggle here to make more plays like that, because that's the sort of thing they need to be doing if they want to get themselves back into this game.
So counter Death Cap comes out from Twisted Fate here. Death Cap rush on Twisted Fate. I mean, those wild cards will be doing a lot of damage, but if you look down their team here, it's either going to be the Evelyn Initiate or the famous Messiah Twisted Fate Initiates, and those are all, of course, afforded by the Zhonya's rush. No Zhonya's here, not a lot of 80 damage, I guess, coming out from
United there as well. Good bubble there. There's a flash out for Ezreal, but they flash forward. They want to pick up San. The damage going to come through, and Salme's Ignite's actually going to pick that one up there as well. So nice Stand United. Again, this is really the problem. Blitz Ezreal have traded very well against Twitch Nami, basically the entire lane, but now that the globals are here, I mean, Shen can really just make that a 2v3 that the bottom lane for OMG really doesn't want to be in, and OMG, they're trying to find spots here. They're still ahead by a few thousand gold, but World Elite, I don't know if they've figured it out necessarily, but they're looking to really slow this game down to their pace, and that's the important thing.
And OMG's reacting to that. They haven't grouped. The Ezreal and Blitz was still laning, so paid the price to the globals there, as you'd expect. Globals always help in a skirmish.
Yeah, and you said a few minutes ago they needed a group. Cool, they're going to look for it. Man forced to flash instantly there. Salme does the same as he follows suit. So it gets out of the way of Ari there, but you can really see just how aggressive Cool wants to be. Ooh, misses the gap there over the top through that very awkward Wraith area. It is possible to Spirit Rush out there, but it's a little tricky here. Messiah going to get grabbed though, completely obliterated there, but managed to get out of the stun. The damage coming in though as Loveland pops him around the back. Now the tidal wave's coming in as well. The Ebb and Flow in for the trade damage, but still a bit of burst there onto Wei Xiao, and a clean kill onto Twisted Fate. True Shot Barrage comes in, but doesn't quite do enough damage there for Ezreal. I think that's going to give OMG the Dragon if it pops back up. Otherwise, they'll maybe try and push down the bottom lane turret.
Yeah, and World Elite, they haven't been able to pick up the objectives from their pickoffs with the globals. OMG, however, that's the middle name.
Yeah, Cool coming through here as well. Just going to clear out wards. So many pink wards here for OMG. Really making sure they have a couple on them at all times. Blue buff now going to get stolen away as well. That's cool. We'll pick that one up. And now picking up towards the top. Want to push back that wave here. There's actually big waves here for World Elite, pushing both top and bottom. So clearly been doing some classic World Elite here, making sure those waves are pushed out there and they can really pressure out here. I mean, it's, we've talked about slow push before. It's one of those things that take a while to get into necessarily. But when you have, when you're manipulating your waves, making sure they push out, something World Elite does very, very well, you really can take advantage of your globers as well. Once you've given yourself some space, and almost artificially create space by just making sure the meeting waves are close to the other towers.
So no other big shots coming out for Ari here. Still just stuck on that death cap. Dragon is started by World Elite here. There's going to be a contest.
Yep, looks like Big Pomelo going to try and make a grab happen. Lovelin looking for the steal there. Going comes in a good smite there. Messiah now in trouble as well. Gets grabbed out of the pit there. Charmed as well. And now Cool coming in for the damage here on Ari Salmei. Taking a lot of pain here, and the damage still coming in their way. Xiao trying to get out of here. Ambushes his way out there. Very, very quickly moving out. But Mad's going to get popped by Ari in there as well. And a 3-for-0 and the Dragon in there. Now Wei Zhao's going to get chased up by Lee Sin. And really Twitch, nowhere for him to run. He activates Barrier. He turns around for the spray and put to try and get it going. But he's still going to die here. Cool with another kill there as she flashes after that last one on Ari, and a 4-for-0 Dragon, and maybe even Baron here for OMG would just be a testament to how aggressive these guys can be.
Almost an arrogant Dragon coming out from World Elite there. I mean, they don't have the comp to answer to the very strong Ari, Blitzcrank, and Zac Initiate. And they didn't have the aggressive wards down to know just how much time they had to try and sneak it. They didn't have a lot of time at all. And OMG come out trumps there in terms of objectives.
Salmai riding in on Fizzif there on Shen just to try and maybe get some miracle still going, but the Baron already done. They'd show up to get the bad news, and OMG, that was a sweep of the map basically. They moved from bottom to top and got everything they wanted plus a couple of kills on the way. So very, very nicely played there from them. I have to agree that World Elite maybe felt in their position was a little bit better than it was. They're trying to take out that Dragon. I mean, they're obviously desperate for gold a little bit now. Now they're really desperate for cash.
Absolutely. I mean, 7k gold lead almost out of nowhere, but Dragon gives the global gold, Baron gives so much global gold, and the kill advantage. I mean, OMG, the next fight, they're looking super strong. They've had freshly shopped. I mean, now Anisi Large Rod and almost all of Azonia is completed on Ari. I was wondering where the gold was. It's been spent now.
It has indeed, and the items coming up thick and fast here for OMG, looking very, very strong here in this one. We've even got Oracles now for Big Pomelo. I mean, to be fair, haven't really needed it, kind of just waited out the landing phase, and it's kind of interesting to think that World Elite, the team that has the ability to split push and really take advantage of their presence in lanes, were actually the ones that grouped around Dragon and really paid the price for it with that last fight. So OMGs, I mean, their continued aggression comes up very nicely there for them. They're going to take out the bottom turret in there as well.
Their global cooldowns give them basically nothing. That's 2 ultimates that, in a 5v5 grouped around Dragon situation, almost count for nil. And it's just, their comp is not for a 5v5 engage straight out. It's for split pushing, turning skirmishes into advantages, but grouping and forcing an objective is not what World Elite's comp does at all. So without all the aggressive wards to know, hey, there's no chance of 5 OMG members coming to answer this Dragon, and it's just a mistake from World Elite.
And that's one of the things about the way OMG play, is that not only are they very aggressive, they're obviously they execute very well. He was Wei Zhao going to get completely owned as Sun gets that kill. He was not standing in the right spot there. Messiah now in trouble as well. It's Cool going to come in with massive damage here on Ariko. Going, picks up the kill there on Mad as well. Now Lovelin's coming through, finds the Q there onto Nami. And I am shocked that he didn't tower it over there. He must have been out of range.
Controlled aggression for once from Loveland. We won't accuse him of that too often.
No. I mean, in general, OMG, though, they play aggressively and they execute almost flawlessly when they do. And that's one of the things you're constantly put to the test as a team by all the pressure that OMG puts out. And World Elite buckled a little there with that Dragon Call here. And now OMG looking to push out an inhibitor turret here in mid. And you have to think that World Elite can't do a lot to stop this turret. Maybe they can stop the inhibitor going down, but the freight train is not stopping, Papa Smithy.
They just have so many choices for picks this game, and traditionally, they just love getting those picks, and their objective control is always flawless. Once again, this game here, 6 turrets to 2. They're taking the Dragons when they count. OMG playing just superb League of Legends.
And now 10,000 gold ahead of World Elite, and OMG really showing why they are the strongest team in the LPL currently. They were the champions in spring. They're first, I believe, currently in the standings as well.
8-1 pastry time, 9-1 after this, sitting very, very pretty. If they win this game, they will be 2 wins clear of second place Positive Energy.
And starting off the summer here for LPL, with a very, very nice record as well. And no real surprise with just the way they play here. I mean, World Elite, they're going to get a turret here in mid, which is a small victory here, but still the gold advantage. Absolutely massive between these two. Ari is absolutely freakishly strong, and here we go, going, looking for Weizhao. Coolzo want to go in, actually stun their Messiah, completely pops there with a stun cut, and Weizhao picks up the kill on Ari. That was a misplay there from OMG, but maybe not. They can maybe still go in. Big Pommel picks up man there for the grub, staging out it in there as well, but it's not enough that they can't get to Weizhao. Maybe there was Sen, now a little too low, going, looking again there, tries to get on Nami, but Twitch then manages to dodge out of the way. Sun going to get taunted in there as well. A good flash throw from Ezreal to keep it alive, and now Let's Bounce happens. Damage there from Ezreal picks up Twitch, and OMG are actually going to be able to win this fight. His Salmei going to go down in there as well, going, continuing to slingshot people there and chase them down. And OMG maybe made all the mistakes they possibly could there in that one, and still managed to win that team fight 2v.
And the blue Ezreal mobility is so strong. They have wonderful flash over the wall just to drop aggro completely.
Wow.
And the thing about Zac, of course, is that when you're on low health, you sustain up, and yep, I can see where the wow comes from.
Yep.
Surrender vote at 25 minutes from World Elite.
World Elite, a team that are certainly capable of playing through the late game and playing up flawlessly, tap out against OMG. They just do not want to handle any more of that pressure. An absolutely incredibly played game once again from OMG. I mean, at this point, we're going to run out of good things to say about them because I think we've said them all.
And the best thing about it all is, Beishan, that they play an exciting brand of League of Legends, but it's so effective. I mean, they just love roaming, getting picks, using aggressive champions like that Blitzcrank. It makes for great League of Legends to watch. And, you know, on any counter, when you look at League of Legends in China in 2013, it's been damn effective.
Yeah, OMG have really been the story of the LPL so far, and they're continuing very nicely here on day 1 of week 4 of the LPL Summer. If you, of course, would like to catch any of the other coverage here for the LPL, feel free to head over to youtube.com/LOLChamp series, where all the VODs are stored for your viewing pleasure. We'll be back with the last game here of day 1 in week 4, and a great game there to kick things off. We'll see what happens. It's going to be Young Glory versus LMQ.